Light is the first thing we think about when we start a shoot, because before the camera sees anything, it already sets the mood for the subject. And we are not a massive set with truckloads of gear, but we do have a workflow built from shoots, mistakes, and a lot of fixing and learning. And today we want to walk you through how we use lighting and how each one helps us get the look we want without fighting the shot in post. Before any light turns on, we decide the surface, size, and mood of the product. Like a metal watch needs a different light plan than a matte camera cage. So planning based on the subject helps us choose the light power, modifier, and angle before we even pull a light stand out. So it's good to plan whether we need soft wrap, tight highlights, or controlled reflections. After that, we start building the base, key, fill, and backlight. Simple foundation, but it always gives us control. The key light shapes everything, so that is where we put most attention. We got two from Godox, both are the same model, SL60W, and we often start with it. With a daylight colour temp, it gives us a clean base that works on anything from a mug to a microphone. One of them stays paired with this 105cm softbox from Phottix Raja, so the light wraps around the product without harsh fall-off. The second SL60W stays overhead with a rectangular softbox, which keeps dust and texture visible without blowing highlights. Now the fill comes in only when shadows feel too deep, and here this Sirui E30B helps, since its panel style gives a soft tone without a large modifier. We usually run it between 20 to 40% because any higher and the product loses shape. The goal is to lift shadows just enough, not erase them. The backlight is where depth enters the frame. Sometimes it is a soft halo, sometimes a sharp rim. For that, we rotate between the Zhiyun Molus X200 and the Colbor CL220. Both have high output, but the Colbor at 220 watts gives us enough room to pull the light far back while still keeping detail on darker products. Then things change based on the kind of product we are shooting. Reflective surfaces never forgive lazy lighting. For glossy items, we use 2 or 3 lights just to control reflections. The key stays diffused, but the fill becomes directional, often with the GVM PD60B. It has enough punch, like near 9000 lux at 1 meter, gives us enough support even with a grid on. For bigger items, we step up to the CL220 or the X200, since their higher wattage allows us to light from a distance. This keeps the product clean and avoids harsh hotspots, so we do not rely on smaller panel lights for large work. They can light it, but they do not shape it. Now, when a frame looks too clean or flat, we bring in texture. Inkee Gold Crow helps with that. Since it runs on its own battery, it is easy to place behind props without running cables. We use it for soft background gradients or accent edges. For pattern work, the Smallrig RF10C is our go-to. The focusable beam from 10 to 60 degrees and gobo filters give us shapes on walls, boxes, or tabletops. That kind of shadow play helps a product feel less isolated and more cinematic without adding clutter. Movement adds emotion in product B-roll, so handheld light passes are a thing we use often. And for this, we use this Zhiyun Cinepeer CF100. It got the power with full RGB and a built-in battery. It lets us do light sweeps that reveal logos, texture, or corner curves. Colour stays accurate too, so it blends with our main lights without weird tint fixes later. And yes, not every light had a happy ending here. We used to rely on the Colbor CL60R, and it did its job for a while, but long sessions built up heat, and the panel did not survive. That taught us one lesson we still follow. Power matters, but cooling matters more. So we build our setups based on roles, not just what numbers. A key that shapes, a fill that softens, a backlight that separates, and a special light that adds story. Once you start thinking in purpose instead of gear names, the whole process gets easier. You stop guessing, and every light earns its place. There is also a simple rule we learned the hard way. If a softbox or grid eats half the output, you need a light with enough headroom to keep the image clean. A strong light at half power always looks better than a weak light pushed to the edge. It keeps noise low, highlights smooth, and fans quiet. And that is really the heart of our approach. Not about owning the best lights, just knowing what each one does for the frame. Some stay for key work, some live in the background. Some only show up when we want patterns, texture, or movement. When that purpose is clear, even a basic studio feels like a well-trained toolkit. If you are building your setup, start with one clean key light. Add a soft fill, add a backlight. After that, pick one light that can do something unique. A spotlight, a handheld stick, a background thrower. Build in layers, not in panic. You do not need everything we have, but you do need intention behind whatever you buy next. Light is not there to brighten the product. Light is there to guide the eye toward what you want people to notice first. Once you see it that way, you will never place a light just because again. Well, that's everything about our lighting setup. Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found it helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more videos.